the goals and some of the things we'd like to try to accomplish. So I always want things to happen faster than they do, but job for about 6 months. Then I went back to graduate school. When I finished graduate school, my first job was to help people transition from Sunlands into the community. This was back in the 70s. Now back then, there were so many people in institutions that had no business being in institutions. Living in the community was almost unheard of. So the transition, and part of what we did in the business that I was in, was we wrote grants for local governments and literally would take individuals in the institutions, run them through a battery of tests to see what they were capable of doing and what they could not do. For example, how to use bus transportation, how to budget their money, how to budget their time. All the things today that the services that are being provided are actually, thank goodness, I mean, it's just commonplace. It's what we do every day. But back then, nobody was getting those services. So to look at how far we've come is truly, truly exciting. And so then I went on in my life to do a lot of different things. I was the first women's athletic director at Florida State University. You know, go Knowles. There had to be at least one in the crowd. But I also worked at the Department of Children and Families. I worked at DBPR. I've had a lot of different jobs in state government. I had my own business for 16 years, where I had to fight every day to bring in business and then do the business. So I know what it's like to be on all sides of the aisle, but when I finally decided to come back to state government, I wanted to come back because I wanted to, again, do something that I could do to help other people. And I came back at DCF and was administrator there over the business side of DCF, which was fun, it was great. But this is truly, I feel like I've come back home. This is where I started, back in the 70s, and this is where I'm going to finish my professional career. And I am so excited and so happy to be a part of this family. And I see great things for our future. There are a couple things I'd like to share with you. Our agency has about 30,000 people that we serve on the waiver. And for those of you that might not know what the waiver is, federal government basically says that every single person that has a developmental disability is entitled to basically institutionalization. The person, in the families, if they do not want that, they apply for a waiver that says, I am waiving that right so that I can receive services to stay in my home or in my community. And so it is a responsibility of our agency to make sure that people have those services so they can stay in place. That's what the waiver is all about. So we have about 30,000 people that are receiving those waivers. We also have 21,000 that are on the waiting list. Now for me, that is a real problem. And I'm sure it is for every single person in this room. And we do have some general revenue dollars that help people that are on the waiting list. It helps them with one-time needs that they may have, like dental, or for 2 or 3 months of some types of in-home supports they might need. But it is not a consistent amount of money that they get every year. So our goal is to try to help bring people off of the waiting list. And I don't mean just money. It's not just money. It's the reason I'm here today is to appeal to the faith-based agencies and actually all agencies, all people out there to help us with community resources. There are so many things out there that we haven't even begun to tap that we know are things that people that have developmental disabilities could use to make their lives better, whether you're on the waiting list or the waiver. Now, what have we done about that? Not a whole lot in our agency, not nearly as much as we need to. And that's why one of the things we're doing is we're going to be developing a resource directory, which I'll talk with you about in a minute. But who do we serve? People with autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, intellectual disabilities, spina bifida, and Prader-Willis. And I'm not sure if everybody here knows what all those things are, but I happened also the day before yesterday to visit a facility where their primary function was dealing with people with Prader-Willis. Prader-Willis is a, as I understand it, is a disability that basically is in your hypothalamus. I'm not saying that word right, but you know what I'm talking about. That basically it causes them to just want to eat constantly. I mean, they eat all the time. They have a ravenous need to eat. And so consequently what happens is they end up being extremely obese, and there is a difference between somebody with obesity and somebody with Prader-Willis. Prader-Willis, it is something that they cannot change. They cannot change it. But you can change it, at least at the place that I visited. And they change it through activities, work. They have them working, doing things so that they're actually recommended to the governor, along with several other people I might add, to add him to the Developmental Disabilities Council, and he's been appointed by the governor to the Developmental Disabilities Council. He was in foster care. When he was in foster care, he basically was told, or not given the kind of support that he needed. When he was adopted, his parents told him there was no limit. And he will explain to you more. He has his own business. He's just done incredible things. T.J. Moon. You might have to help me with this. Is this going to be all right? Yeah.
Sure. Well, let me start by telling you a little about myself. Well, of course, I have disability. I have cerebral palsy. I had double strikes against me because early on I was in foster care. And I was adopted when I was 11, going on 20. I am a businessman and own my own business doing web design and web consulting. I live on my own. I am an active member of the community as a volunteer in many different charities and causes. I teach Sunday school at my church. I am involved in a local business organization and am currently president of Ocala Business League. I am often asked why I do so much in the community, what drives me to volunteer. One answer is that I see the need. It is right in front of me, and it is hard for me to ignore. There is so much out there to do. Secondly, I grew up being told I could not do. When I was in foster care, everyone told me I could not do. Teacher told me I was mentally retarded and that I was too stupid to learn. Foster parents told me I could not do what the other foster care in the foster home did. I was usually stuck in the corner to watch TV. I was like a bump on the log, literally stuck in the corner and left alone. So when I left the foster care system and joined the family, opportunities opened up for me. I was allowed to do. I was encouraged to. My parents did not put limits or boundaries on me, so I started doing it. Now, I guess I do so much because I was told so often that I could not do. I was told I would not learn anything, that I could not learn anything. Now, I have a bachelor's degree from Rasmussen College, not a made-up degree, not a degree because someone felt sorry for the kid in the wheelchair, but a real bachelor's degree in business management, something I earned and had to work my butt off for. I volunteer because I can. Because instead of being the kid stuck in the corner, now I am the adult who can help and make a difference. That is so very important to me. and make a difference. To help those who need help, to be the voice for so many who cannot speak out for themselves or are not heard. I see so many people who sit and complain, and I guess if I wanted, I could sit and complain and do nothing, but I just cannot see the sense in that. So instead, I sit and do something. People always have excuses. For falling down, or for not doing anything, or just for sitting and complaining. That is something I cannot understand. I have had problems. I can honestly say I was treated unfairly. And I can probably say that life gave me a lot of bad breaks early on. But that would not get me anywhere. It would not make me happy to sit and do nothing and just feel sorry for myself. I am asked what my biggest obstacle is. I like speaking to groups, and as you can tell a little bit that my speech is effective. But that really isn't an obstacle because I speak slowly and try to speak loudly. And if you really want to know what I'm saying, you'll listen closely and concentrate. I have had a lot of obstacles thrown at me, and I am sure more will be coming in the future. I know some people don't really see me. They see my disability. They see the wheelchair, and they hear my voice, and right away think, stupid or not worth listening to. But I don't let them bother me. They are obstacles that I can overcome simply by moving on. Transportation is an obstacle for me, and not just for me. So many others with disabilities, even those without disabilities. But I live on the bus route. I have friends and family who will help me when I need a ride. So it is possible. I don't really look for or dwell on obstacles or problems. You know, each day is new and it's a chance to start over. I look forward to each day. Maybe I can try something new or meet some new friends or make a new one or get spend time with an old one. The other day I was water skiing. Oh, it was fun. Each day is just a gift, and I love to get gifts, so I enjoy each day. I believe that each and every one of us working together to make a difference in the community is what's going to bring everyone together, people with disabilities and not, and make this world a better place. So no more sitting at home and complaining. Get off your butt and do and work with the disability community to make a difference. And continue to keep advocating and talking to our legislators. We can make a big difference. My hero is Martin Luther King Jr. because he stood for a better world in getting there with nonviolence. He stated, when the architects for our republic signed both the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which all Americans were to adhere. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, should be given the guaranteed inalienable right for the pursuit, for the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious that today that America has defaulted on this promissory note. So I, Thomas Boone, saying that we can do this. Let's make this the best darn country where that all of us are equal, no matter our differences of disability, race, color, age, and so on. Excuses, throw them out the window. There's no more. Thank you.